Hey YouTube, Bob here. In this 10-year anniversary edition of Nintendo Unboxed, we're going to be revisiting the US NTSC Game Boy Advance SP and its follow-up, the Game Boy Advance SP with a brighter screen. If you're interested in seeing my original unboxing of these items, you can click the link to that in the description for this video. So here we have the Game Boy Advance SP, which is just that. It's a Game Boy Advance, but what does SP mean? The naming convention here doesn't really speak to the huge upgrade that this version of the Game Boy had over the original Game Boy Advance, and that was in the form of a backlit screen. So now you would be able to enjoy those 32-bit games in all of their color glory in any sort of lighting condition, because as you can see in the picture, they're very subtly hinting at the light kind of radiating up from the Game Boy Advance screen. But right here on the box it says built-in lighted screen, plays all Game Boy games, folding portable size, includes rechargeable battery and adapter. This would also mark the first time that Nintendo went away from any sort of AA or AAA cell replaceable batteries. This is where it had the first lithium-ion battery that was rechargeable, which could be replaced. You could order replacements if yours lost its charge or if it corroded somehow. You could get those on Nintendo's website. But here we have the SP, and you can see its follow-up here is touting an even brighter backlit screen, because you wouldn't realize it when this one first came out back in 2003 that the backlight wasn't so great. In typical Nintendo fashion, they were probably trying to gauge how popular this new version of the portable would be. And then once it sold gangbusters, as this is pretty much the preferred way to play Game Boy games, either one of these two Game Boy Advance SP systems, now they decided, yeah, let's go for the more expensive backlit screen. And by that time, 2 years later, as this was released in 2005, that backlit panel was not nearly as expensive as it would have been to bring to market back in 2003. But back then, I actually did buy this. This was my second Nintendo purchase after the several-year hiatus in college, and what piqued my interest is that I found out that Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, a game that I had originally fallen in love with on my friend's PlayStation, was available for Game Boy. And I thought that would be the perfect game, you know, kind of the 2003 version of 1989's Tetris to be able to bring around in my pocket. Because this was folding and portable. And I read in some online descriptions of the Game Boy Advance SP that Nintendo decided to go with this folding design to kind of match that popularity of folding flip phones at the time. And for whatever reason they called it SP, which is supposed to mean special, and yeah, I think this was a special, almost final. This is the second to last iteration of the Game Boy hardware. So let's take a look at these. Very plain packaging here. We've just got the Game Boy Advance SP logo on both long sides, but with a picture of the product on the top. On the first short side, same deal. And on the final short side, same deal. Logo and product. So Game Boy Advance SP says, all the power of the most advanced portable gaming system ever, now with a built-in side-lighted screen and sleek folding design. Experience the bold graphics, large, colorful widescreen format, and digitized stereo sound. Play all your favorite games on the world's first 32-bit handheld. Plays all Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games you already own. New built-in side-lighted screen for take-anywhere gameplay. That's Nintendo's way of saying, yeah, we know you couldn't really use this inside. You really needed natural sunlight or really good artificial lighting to see the color graphics in the original. But they're also saying you can use the Game Link cable to link up with other Game Boy Advance systems and play 4-player games on 4 different screens. Game Boy Advance, Game Link, and cable sold separately. Includes an AC adapter and built-in lithium-ion rechargeable battery pack, good for up to 18 hours of continuous gameplay with the light off. Yeah, that light would definitely increase the battery consumption substantially. Connect the Nintendo GameCube Game Boy Advance cable sold separately to the Nintendo GameCube, and on specially designed games, you can exchange data, unlock extra features of levels, use the Game Boy Advance SP as a supplemental game screen or input source, just like the Tingle Tuner in Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. But here we've got some screenshots, of course, of some of the first-party games at the time. Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, one of the many re-releases on the Game Boy Advance. Metroid Fusion, and Golden Sun, The Lost Age. So it says, this set includes Platinum, Silver, Game Boy Advance SP, AGS 001, which is kind of interesting that they listed the part number here on the box, because this new version with the backlit screen instead of the sidelit screen didn't really have any different type of naming convention to set it apart. It was just an improved version with a backlit instead of sidelit screen. But in the gaming community, this one is known by its part number, which is AGS 101. And you really want to check on the back sticker there to be sure that's the one that you're getting, so that you can have that brighter backlit screen, because there is a huge difference here. And AGS, I think I mentioned my other unboxing for the Game Boy that DMG was the part number prefix for those, because Dot Matrix Game was the code name for the Game Boy. Just like I believe Atlantis was the name or code name of the Game Boy Advance before it was released. So AGS, maybe that stood for Atlantis Game System. But here, let's take a look and see what's inside the packaging for the 001. Open it up, and you can see here that we've got the AC adapter to power that internal battery now. Very unique proprietary plug, courtesy of Nintendo. Take out the little baggie of paperwork, and then tucked in there in that little pocket is the Game Boy Advance SP. Let's see if we can push this out through the UPC slide here. There we go. And we'll take a look at that after we see what's going on in the documentation. Got quite a few things in this little baggie here. Right away we can see we have an instruction booklet, which I'm suspicious is more of a fold-out poster. Consumer precautions booklet, which, yeah, don't need to worry about that. Nintendo Power subscription, and then your registration card for your Game Boy Advance SP. And you could enter for a chance to win a game of your choice. We saw this before with the original Game Boy Advance. So let's take a look here. It says, register your Game Boy Advance SP. Registering your new Game Boy Advance gives you some cool benefits. If you send in the registration card, your name will be entered in a drawing for a chance to win a Game Boy Advance game of your choice. That's not all. Being a registered Game Boy owner entitles you to receive mailings. Woohoo! Gotta get me some of those mailings with other great offers from Nintendo. You can also register online. So, yep. We are leaping into the 21st century here, at least Nintendo is. Now we can register online. No longer have to rely on the registration card. Let's see if there's the same situation going on for the Nintendo Power subscription here. Get Power, Nintendo Power, all updated now with GameCube and Game Boy Advance covers. So you can definitely tell this was a contemporary issue. Strategies with Power. Subscribe and receive the free headphones, which are they pictured here? I know they were on the one with the regular Game Boy Advance we took a look at, but nope, not here. But you can indeed sign up online. There's the site to do so. So let's take a look and see what's going on in our instruction manual for the Game Boy Advance SP. Very, very similar type of manual to the original Game Boy Advance. Several panels of information here. Got some safety information. Panel 2 extends the length of the brochure here. Typically they had it divided in columns, but it looks like they have a little bit of a format. It's going the full length of the side. So, introduction to the Game Boy Advance SP video game system. Thank you for purchasing. The Game Boy Advance SP is a folding, pocket-sized color video game system that features 2.9-inch thin film transistor, TFT, which we saw in the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color before it. Color liquid crystal reflective display. Up to 32,000 simultaneous colors, 32-bit ARM with embedded memory, self-contained LCD screen light, side lit that is, built-in rechargeable lithium-ion battery pack, provides about 18 hours of continuous gameplay with the screen light off. And then we have kind of a map of all the buttons on the handheld itself, and then descriptions of what those buttons and switches do. Panel 4, charging the Game Boy Advance SP battery pack using that included AC adapter, and then using the Game Boy Advance SP video game system, how to insert a cartridge, adjust the volume, turn it on and off, and it even talks about the different types of Game Boy packs that we saw with the original Game Boy Advance manual, where with original games that are kind of shown in a 4:3 equivalent ratio, you can use the L and R buttons to kind of stretch to fill the screen. But I always preferred playing in the original aspect ratio, especially those old games. I think that's the way to go. Then here, changing the color. If you're going to be playing some of those old games on this new system, you can have brown, red, dark brown, pastel mix, orange, yellow, blue, dark blue, gray, green, dark green, and reverse color palettes, albeit limited color palettes. Panel 8, we have all the connections for, look at all these different types of Game Boy systems. We have the original brick. Looks like we've got a pocket and perhaps a color. Actually, this would be the pocket, that would be the color. We've got the original Game Boy Advance, and now we've got the new Game Boy Advance SP. So you would have to get that universal game link to be able to be backwards compatible with all the existing types of Game Boys. And then panel 9, talking about that specialty link right here, and how to do lots of daisy chain connections here and all the different types of configurations for multiplayer. And then finally, this is the one drawback of this new compact folding design, the headphone adapter. You'll notice when we take a look at the physical features of the system, there is no headphone port like there had been on all Game Boy iterations before it. And that must be due to the fact that they weren't able to fit all the internals inside otherwise. So you have to buy an adapter that feeds the audio through the AC adapter port. So that's how you would have to get that sound out of the Game Boy Advance SP. And panel 11 has some troubleshooting, and then 11 is troubleshooting, 12 is all about the ESRB ratings, and then 14 consumer assistance and directing you to their website if you need to purchase any replacement accessories or parts. So that is the manual for the Game Boy Advance SP. Let's take a look at the Game Boy Advance SP itself. Very compact, you can see it in my hand here. Quite a robust hinge, very reminiscent of the early Nintendo DS, the way it's kind of got that alternate S type of shape right there. On the bottom we've got the cartridge input slot. On the left side we've got your volume slider. And then on the right side you've got your on and off switch and some LEDs to let you know that the system is on, and about the battery as well. On the back you can kind of see the L and R buttons, which kind of have taken a very strange size. You got to fit those shoulder buttons right in the corner there, so it's actually more comfortable than it seems to use those. And you've got your serial number with barcode, and then your model number, AGS001. And we'll take a look and compare that to the AGS101 with the brighter backlit screen. On the top we've got two ports here. We've got the charger for the AC adapter, and then you have the EXT port, which would be used to attach certain peripherals such as the GameCube cable. So you could use this as your tingle tuner hooked up to your Game Boy or your GameCube when you're playing Wind Waker. Opening up the system, you can see it flips up and kind of clicks just like flip phones of the day used to. Got a D-pad which has kind of a strange smooth feel if you compare it to other Nintendo D-pads of the time, but even weirder than that would be the DS D-pad that would still be coming down the pipeline. Got your B and A and select and start buttons. A single front-firing speaker that would channel both left and right channels through it, so you don't get separated stereo, but it's still there. And then this is the button, has a little bit of a sun image in it, lets you know this is how you turn the side light on or off. So that is the Game Boy Advance SP, the first iteration. Let's take a look at the one that would be released 2 years later in 2005 in the form of the Game Boy Advance SP, now with a brighter screen. Alright, so here it is, now with a brighter screen. You can see you got more of a close-up of the product here, but by this time, 2 years later, pretty much everybody knew what the Game Boy Advance SP was. And this one would offer you a brighter screen. Pretty much the same thing going on all panels of the box, right down to the way the text is written. We got a little bit of a variation here up top for the general description, which says, "For gaming on the go, nothing beats a Game Boy Advance SP. Optimized for gameplay, the Game Boy Advance SP combines powerful performance, responsive play, and a bright backlit screen in a sleek folding design. Experience the bold graphics, large, colorful, widescreen format, and digitized stereo sound. Play all your favorite games on the world's first 32-bit handheld." So pretty much everything after that remains the same. All of the features of it, save for built-in backlit screen instead of side-lit screen for take-anywhere gameplay. And we've got a little bit of an update here of the different screenshots. We can compare that to the original one here, which I have, replacing a Link to the Past with Super Mario Advance 4, which was really Super Mario Bros. 3, Metroid Fusion for Mario Tennis Power Tour, and Golden Sun for Pokemon Emerald version. And then what this includes here is the Pearl Blue Game Boy Advance SP, and they're not noting the part number anymore, which is interesting, especially since in the gaming community this is known as the AGS 101. This is the one you want with the backlit screen. But it is mentioning the AC adapter and rechargeable battery pack. So let's take a look and see what we get inside this one. Again, your charger, which was identical between the first iteration of the Game Boy Advance SP and this one. And then we've also got some documentation in here. Let's see if we can get these out. Looks like this is going to be a Nintendo Power subscription, perhaps. A little bit different format. Lots of pack-in literature, and then just like the original, tucked in this little pocket is the Game Boy Advance SP. Let's see if we can push it out of there. And there it is. So let's take a look and see what we got as far as documentation goes. What's this big piece of paper here? Register now to power up. Live large as a My Nintendo member at Nintendo.com. Oh, I remember My Nintendo. That is kind of a reward system they had, and then Club Nintendo would follow shortly after that, I believe. As you can see here, this is 2005. This is when Nintendo had concurrent handhelds going. It had the Nintendo DS and it had the Game Boy Advance, as the Game Boy Advance still had a couple years to live out its life cycle. But this is Mario Kart for the Nintendo DS here on Nintendo Power. So kind of interesting that that's featured here in an insert for the Game Boy Advance. But that's so you can register online. Nintendo has always been reticent to embrace online or internet technology, right down to the way you register for things. Wow, there's a lot of things in here. Looks like we're actually going back to a booklet format for this one, mainly because it's looking like Nintendo is going multilingual. We've got the English, French, and the Spanish. So in order to fit all of that, a booklet is required. We've got health and safety precautions. We've got the Nintendo Power subscription card. This one looks exactly the same as the one that we saw in the original Game Boy Advance SP package. Got an ad here for the Game Boy Player, which is one of the coolest accessories for the Nintendo GameCube, allowing you to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on your TV. Little piece that would mount below your GameCube there, and you would use the startup disk as kind of an OS to run those games. But that was a really nice feature, nice peripheral there, and it's one of the main reasons that I keep my Game Boy or my GameCube hooked up at all, is to play Game Boy games on my TV. I usually play GameCube games on the Wii instead. So really neat accessory in the form of the Game Boy player. And then here, what is this? Hundreds of games and counting. This looks like a later one because we have the Game Boy Micro featured on here as well. Game Boy Micro is the last piece of Game Boy hardware we're going to take a look at. But what do we got here? Contents. This is a list of a lot of games and the page numbers they appear on. No doubt an advertisement, but just gives you some of the, looks like box art or screenshots, and then some descriptions in both English and French for some of the most popular Game Boy Advance games. There's Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I had forgotten all about this. Pokemon Emerald, and Pokemon Leaf Green and Sapphire, Ruby Fire Red, and then WarioWare Twisted. And to cap it off, Yoshi Topsy Turvy and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So really kind of a cool insert here advertising several of the popular Game Boy Advance games of the time. And then finally, let's take a look at the instruction booklet, now in booklet format, no doubt to be in English, French, and Spanish. But we've got some safety, right away the seal of quality, table of contents here, important safety information, battery leakage. Yeah, I do keep all the batteries outside of the systems while they're in storage. Let's see. Component map here and description on the facing page. Same for the rear of the handheld system. How to charge. Aspect ratio of different types of game packs. Inserting games, turning it on and off, and adjusting the volume. Actually, I would like to go back here. Let's see what it says about what number is it going to be. It's going to be 2, your brightness switch. Adjust the brightness of the screen between normal and bright. You did have a couple of variations there, which was nice. It wasn't just on and off. How to play multiplayer using the cable. The necessity of that adapter to be able to use headphones. That goes on the EXT port. We'll take a look at those again when we look at the hardware here. Troubleshooting tables. ESRB, same exact things we saw in the other one. Warranty and service. And then your Nintendo World Class Service Center. And then we are en français. And then en español. So let's take a look at the hardware itself. It's going to be virtually identical to its 2-year older brother here. 2003, 2005, exact same size. The only difference being that backlit LCD. Which if we open it up here, we've got the same D-pad, same B and A button, exact same brightness button, but now you can control it a little bit more. So there you have the Game Boy Advance SP and the Game Boy Advance SP with a brighter screen. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video, and will stay tuned to World of Nintendo for lots more like it, especially those in the 10-year anniversary of the Nintendo Unboxed series playlist, in which I'm reshooting several of my earlier videos that definitely need a little bit of improvement in the video quality. So I'll have those coming per the calendar that's been on the screen, and I hope you'll stay tuned for those, as well as all of the other content that I'll have here for you at World of Nintendo. So until the next one, take care.